Ladies and gentlemen, let me break it to you real quick. Not everybody clapping for you is happy for you. Some are just watching, waiting for the first sign of failure so they can say, I knew it. That's the world we're living in. And you out here giving the whole playbook away for free. Every plan, every dream, every move. You're announcing it like you got cheerleaders. But let me ask you this, how many of them are actually helping you? Here's the truth. The more you talk, the more you slow yourself down. You're not building, you're broadcasting. And every time you open your mouth to explain your next step, you're giving someone a chance to doubt you, delay you, or straight up copy you. Some of y'all are giving updates on a blueprint that's not even finished. Stop that. This isn't about being secretive. This is about being smart. If you want peace, if you want power, if you want to really build something strong, you got to learn to move in silence. You got to learn to grow in private and let the results do the talking. Stay with me, because by the end of this speech, you're going to understand why silence is not weakness, it's strategy. You're going to learn how to guard your vision, protect your energy, and finally get out of your own way. Let's go. We live in a world where it feels like everyone wants to know everything about your life. Social media has made it normal to share every thought, every struggle, every victory, sometimes before those victories are even real. But here's the thing you have to understand: not everyone who asks about your life actually cares about your success. Most people are just curious, or worse, they might be waiting for you to slip up. You've got to learn to protect your plans, your dreams, your moves. Some things don't need to be shared. Some things are meant to be kept private until they're ready to be seen. You don't owe anyone the full story, especially if it's your personal growth, your goals, or the hard work you're putting in behind the scenes. When you tell everyone everything, you're inviting too many opinions, too many distractions, too many doubts, not just from others, but from yourself. When people know your every step, suddenly your progress isn't just your business anymore. It's subject to judgment, criticism, or even sabotage. You lose control over your story. And let me be clear, it's not about being secretive just for the sake of it. It's about being strategic with your energy and your focus. You wouldn't show all your cards in a poker game, right? You'd keep the best ones close to your chest until the right moment. Your life, your goals, your journey, they're no different. You have to be intentional about who sees what and when. Think about the people around you. Who really supports you? Who genuinely wants to see you win? Most people are caught up in their own battles, their own stories, and some may even feel threatened by your progress. When you overshare, you give those people too much power to influence your mindset and slow you down. You open the door for doubt, discouragement, or gossip to sneak in. And that's the last thing you need when you're trying to build something great. There's also something powerful about mystery. When you keep your goals quiet, you create an environment where your actions have to speak louder than your words. You work harder because no one is watching. You push through because the applause isn't coming yet. You build resilience because the spotlight isn't on you, and that gives you space to grow without pressure. When your journey is private, you're less likely to be influenced by others' opinions, which means you stay true to your vision. You avoid the noise, the distractions, the comparisons, the negativity that come with sharing too much too soon. You stay focused on what matters doing the work. This doesn't mean you have to be lonely or shut everyone out. It means you get to choose carefully who gets a seat at your table. Share your plans with those who have proven they want to see you succeed. Trust those who lift you up and give you honest advice. Let the rest be just background noise. Most importantly, keeping your journey private builds your confidence. When you rely less on external validation, you develop an inner strength that no one can take away. You learn to trust yourself, your timing, and your ability to turn your plans into reality without needing constant approval or explanation. Remember, some of the most successful people in the world are masters of silence when it comes to their dreams. They don't broadcast every idea, every setback, every detail. They understand that quiet preparation and focused work are the keys to real success. And when they're ready, they reveal their results, and the world takes notice. So, protect your plans like treasure. Guard your progress like a secret weapon. Not everyone needs to know what's going on in your life, and that's okay. The less you share prematurely, the stronger you'll be when it's time to show the world what you've built. Stay quiet, stay focused, build in the shadows. And when the time comes, your success will be loud enough for everyone to hear without you saying a word. You ever notice how some people are always talking about what they're going to do, but never seem to get anything done? There's a reason for that. Talking too much about your plans, your goals, or your next moves actually slows you down. It kills your momentum. It's like running a race while carrying a heavy bag of bricks on your back. When you constantly explain your next step to everyone around you, you're spending more time convincing people than convincing yourself. You're using your energy to justify what you want to do instead of using that energy to actually do it. And energy is the one thing you can't get back. Every minute you spend talking is a minute you're not working, growing, or making progress. That's time lost forever. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. Once you get it, it's easier to keep moving forward. But to build momentum, you have to act. You have to put in the work quietly, steadily, and consistently. When you open your mouth to explain your whole story every time, you're stopping that forward motion. You're allowing distractions to come in, doubts to creep up, and unnecessary opinions to slow you down. Sometimes when you talk too much, you create pressure for yourself that doesn't even exist. You start feeling like you have to live up to everyone's expectations or defend your choices to people who don't understand your vision. Instead of focusing on your goals, you're spending time and energy managing other people's reactions. And that's exhausting. There's also a natural effect that happens when you talk too much about your goals. You give your brain a false sense of accomplishment. When you tell someone about a big plan, your brain releases little rewards as if you've already started. It feels good to say the words, but that's where the work often stops. You think you've made progress just by talking about it, but progress doesn't come from words, it comes from action. The best way to build momentum is to do the work quietly, without distractions or interruptions. When no one's watching, that's when your discipline is tested. That's when your true commitment shows. You don't need an audience to move forward. You don't need a crowd to cheer you on. You only need yourself and your focus. Keep in mind, every time you talk about your plans, you're giving someone else time to catch up or get ahead. Ideas are cheap, but execution is everything. The less you talk, the more time you have to act. The more you act, the faster you get results. And results, they're the only proof you really need. Another thing to understand is that people love to share advice, whether you ask for it or not. When you talk too much about what you're doing, everyone suddenly becomes a critic. You get advice from people who don't know your situation. You get opinions that don't serve your purpose. This noise can throw you off track, make you question yourself, or slow you down. So instead of talking, focus on doing. Let your actions create the story. Let your results be your voice. When people start to see real change, they'll stop asking questions. They'll stop doubting. They'll start respecting your work. Remember, momentum is like a snowball rolling down a hill. The more it rolls, the bigger it gets. But it has to start somewhere. And that start comes from quiet, consistent effort. not from telling everybody your whole plan before you even begin. If you want to succeed, learn to hold your tongue and pick up your tools. Work when no one's watching. Build when no one expects it. Move in silence, because that's how you create unstoppable momentum that can't be stopped by noise, doubts, or distractions. At the end of the day, talking too much isn't courage. It's procrastination disguised as action. Real courage is showing up, doing the work, and keeping your head down until you're ready to show the world what you've built. So stop talking yourself out of your own success. Start doing, and watch how fast you move forward. It's easy to believe that everyone who smiles at you or asks about your progress is rooting for your success, but that's not always the case. Jealousy is a sneaky thing. It hides behind friendly faces, sweet words, and pats on the back. Sometimes the people closest to you, the ones you think have your best interests at heart, are the ones quietly hoping you don't make it. That's a hard truth to swallow, but it's one you need to understand if you want to protect yourself and your dreams. When you constantly share your plans, your struggles, your wins, you're giving jealous people ammunition. You're giving them reasons to compare, criticize, and sometimes even sabotage your efforts without you even realizing it. Jealousy doesn't always look like hate or loud criticism. Most of the time, it's quiet, like a whisper behind your back, a smirk when things don't go your way, or a subtle doubt planted in your mind about your own worth. The problem with jealousy is that it breeds negativity. It pulls you down when you should be rising up. It drains your energy when you need to be building. And the worst part is, sometimes it's coming from the people you care about most. Friends, family, coworkers, even mentors. They might smile and ask how you're doing, but inside, they're watching and waiting for you to fail so they can feel better about their own struggles. You don't have to confront every jealous person in your life. Sometimes it's better to simply keep your distance, especially when it comes to sharing your personal journey. Protect your progress by being selective about who you let into your inner circle. Share your dreams with those who truly want to see you win, who lift you up when you're down, and who celebrate your successes without hesitation. Jealousy can also affect the way you see yourself. When you share too much with the wrong people, their silent doubts or negative vibes can sneak into your own thoughts. You might start questioning if you're good enough, if your goals are too big, or if your efforts are worth it. And that kind of self-doubt is dangerous because it can stop you before you even get started. That's why it's so important to keep your progress quiet, especially in the early stages. When you're still building, when your dreams are still fragile, don't put them on display for everyone to judge. Keep them close, nurture them, and protect them from the eyes that don't truly see your vision. When your goals are secret, they become stronger because they're free from outside noise. Think about this. Some of the most successful people you admire didn't share everything with the world at once. They moved quietly, away from the crowd, out of jealousy's reach. They built their empires in private and only revealed their success when it was undeniable. That's how you stay one step ahead of jealousy. It can't touch what it can't see. Another thing to remember is that jealousy isn't just about other people. Sometimes it's about how you react to others' success. If you find yourself feeling jealous or resentful when someone else does well, that's a signal to check your mindset. Celebrate others, learn from their journeys, and use their wins as motivation instead of discouragement. But protect yourself from those who don't do the same for you. By keeping your journey private, you create a safe space where jealousy can't enter. You build confidence, focus, and resilience without distractions. You're free to make mistakes, learn, and grow without the weight of judgment or envy. And when you finally share your success, it's on your terms with the people who truly deserve to celebrate with you. Remember, jealousy is like a shadow. It only follows where the light shines. If you stop shining your light for the wrong crowd, if you stop giving jealousy a stage, it loses its power. You take back control of your story. You decide who gets to be part of your journey, and you protect your dreams like the valuable treasures they are. So next time you feel the urge to tell everyone what you're doing, pause and think who really needs to know, who's going to support you no matter what, and who might secretly hope you stumble. Protect yourself, protect your energy. Keep your circle tight and your progress quiet, because jealousy hides in friendly faces. But your success doesn't have to be one of its victims. There's a powerful saying that goes, actions speak louder than words. But how many of us really live by that? In today's world, it feels like people are always talking, sharing their plans, boasting about their goals, and explaining their next steps. But talk is cheap. Words without action don't mean a thing. If you want to succeed and be respected, you have to let what you do make the noise, not what you say. When you constantly tell people about what you're going to do, you run the risk of setting expectations that might not match reality. People start watching, waiting to see if you follow through. And if you don't, they lose respect, or worse, they stop believing in you. But when you focus on your actions and your results, you build a reputation that's unshakable. Your work becomes your voice, and that kind of voice commands attention without you having to explain a thing. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have made it big or achieved greatness. Do they spend their time announcing their every move? No. They show up, put in the work, and let their success tell the story. You don't hear about their failures because they're too busy fixing them. You don't hear about their struggles because they're too focused on progress. Their actions shout louder than any speech or explanation ever could. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing talking with doing. They feel productive because they're sharing their plans, posting updates, or telling people what's next. But real productivity comes from the sweat, the hustle, and the discipline behind the scenes. It comes from getting up early, working late, making sacrifices, and pushing through when no one's watching. That's what leads to results, and results are the only language that truly matters. When you act quietly and consistently, you build momentum that can't be stopped. You build trust not by what you say, but by what you prove. People start to see you as someone who gets things done, someone reliable and focused. That reputation will open doors, create opportunities, and attract the right kind of people into your life. Also, when you let your actions speak, you avoid unnecessary drama. Talking too much invites opinions, criticism, and distractions. It opens the door for doubts, both from others and from yourself. But action eliminates those doubts because it's concrete and undeniable. You can't argue with progress. You can't debate results. Letting your actions do the talking means you don't have to explain your journey every step of the way. It means you get to keep some of your story private, protecting it from judgment or negativity. And when you finally share your success, it's not begging for attention. It's demanding respect. There's something incredibly powerful about surprise success. When you quietly work hard and then show up with results, people take notice. They can't deny your progress because it's real and visible. And that moment is far more satisfying than constant updates or empty promises. It's the moment you earn your place, your respect, and your platform. Remember, words can motivate and inspire, but without action, they're empty. Action creates change, builds confidence, and shapes your future. When you focus on doing more and talking less, you train yourself to be disciplined, patient, and persistent. You build character that stands the test of time. If you want to be someone who makes a difference, who achieves greatness, and who lives with purpose, start by backing up your words with consistent action. Let your work tell your story. Let your progress be the proof. Let your success be the loudest voice in the room. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you say that changes your life, it's what you do. So stop explaining, stop announcing, stop convincing. Get to work and let your actions speak louder than your words. Energy and time are two of the most valuable things you have in this life. Once they're gone, you can't get them back. Yet, so many of us spend both like they're unlimited, wasting precious moments and draining our energy on things that don't serve our purpose or bring us closer to our goals. If you want to stop telling everyone what's going on in your life and truly build yourself quietly, the first step is learning to respect your own energy and time like a treasure. When you constantly talk about your plans, your struggles, or your wins, you're not just sharing information, you're giving away your energy. Every time you explain yourself, every time you try to convince someone, or even just recount your day, it takes effort. That effort comes from your mental and emotional reserves. And if you don't protect that energy, you'll find yourself drained, distracted, and less capable of doing the work that really matters. Your time is equally precious. Time spent talking about your plans or problems is time you could be using to act, learn, rest, or grow. The truth is, no one else's opinion or approval is worth the time you spend away from building your future. People will always have thoughts and comments, but your energy and time belong to you and you alone. Use them wisely. When you stop sharing every detail of your life, you begin to guard your energy. You learn to direct your focus where it counts, on the tasks, habits, and routines that move you forward. You become more mindful about who and what you allow into your life, and that protects you from unnecessary distractions and negativity. It's like putting up a shield that keeps the noise out so you can hear your own voice and follow your own path. Respecting your energy also means knowing when to say no. Not every invitation, request, or conversation deserves your attention. Sometimes people will want to drain you with their problems, gossip, or criticism. If you're always open and talking, you give them access to that energy. But when you're selective, you keep your strength and focus for your goals. Saying no isn't selfish. It's necessary for self-preservation. Time and energy are connected. If you waste your time on empty talk, you waste your energy on unnecessary battles. If you spend too much energy trying to prove yourself or explain your journey, you lose the time you need to actually walk that journey. The key to building quietly is to save both your time and energy for what truly matters: your work, your growth, and your peace of mind. Another important thing is rest. People often forget that respecting your energy means giving yourself permission to slow down, to recharge, and to take breaks. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're always talking, always on, always trying to keep others updated, you'll burn out. Protect your energy by protecting your rest. Be quiet, be still, and let your energy build up again so you can come back stronger. When you respect your energy and time, you also raise your standards. You stop settling for small talk or shallow relationships that don't add value to your life. You start surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, who respect your boundaries, and who understand that your journey is personal and sacred. That kind of respect is contagious. When you honor yourself, others will learn to honor you too. Think about your goals and dreams as a garden. Your energy and time are the sunlight and water that help it grow. If you waste those resources on weeds, meaning distractions, drama, or endless talking, your garden will never flourish. But if you carefully nurture your energy and time, your garden will bloom quietly but powerfully, surprising everyone with its beauty when the time is right. Ultimately, respecting your energy and time means becoming the gatekeeper of your life. You decide what gets in and what stays out. You protect your dreams like a lion guards its territory. And you understand that true power lies in focused discipline and the quiet work that no one always sees but everyone eventually respects. So stop giving away your energy in conversations that don't feed your soul. Stop spending your time trying to explain or justify your life to others. Save your energy, protect your time, and invest both wisely in your growth and your future. That's how you build yourself quietly, powerfully, and without distraction. When you do this, you'll realize something amazing. The less you talk, the more you accomplish. And that's a secret many people never learn. Respect your energy, respect your time. Protect both like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. When you're building something meaningful, whether it's your career, your skills, or your character, it's easy to get caught up in the praise and recognition that might come your way. But the truth is, praise can be a tricky thing. It feels good, makes you feel validated, and sometimes even boosts your confidence. But if you let praise be your main motivation or measure of success, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead, you have to learn to trust the process, the daily work, the slow progress, and the quiet growth that happens long before anyone notices. Trusting the process means understanding that success doesn't happen overnight. It means accepting that the journey is often lonely, difficult, and full of setbacks. But it's in that journey, in that slow, steady effort, that real growth happens. When you trust the process, you stop looking for applause after every small win. You stop needing others to tell you you're doing well, because you know the work you're putting in is laying the foundation for something bigger. Praise can be fleeting. People can cheer one day and forget the next. Praise can come from anyone, even those who don't truly understand your vision or your struggles. Sometimes, praise can distract you or make you complacent, causing you to slow down or stop pushing yourself. But the process, the consistent effort, the discipline, the patience, that's what lasts. That's what builds real success, real strength, and real character. When you focus on trusting the process, you learn to find satisfaction in your own progress, no matter how small. You celebrate the quiet victories, the extra hour you worked, the new skill you learned, the challenge you overcame. These moments matter more than any crowd's applause because they show that you're committed. They prove that you're serious about your growth even when no one is watching. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't get the praise you expected. You might feel like your efforts are invisible or that you're not moving fast enough. But those feelings are normal. Every successful person has been there. The difference is they didn't quit because of a lack of praise. They kept going because they trusted the process. They knew that the work they were doing today would pay off tomorrow, even if no one else could see it yet. Trusting the process also means being patient. In a world that celebrates instant results and overnight success stories, patience is a rare and powerful virtue. But real growth takes time. Just like a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your efforts need time to turn into results. You have to water, nurture, and protect your dreams quietly, without rushing or giving up too soon. Another part of trusting the process is being willing to face challenges and failures head on. The process is rarely smooth. You will make mistakes. You will fall short. But each setback is part of the journey. Each failure teaches you something valuable and brings you closer to your goal. When you trust the process, you understand that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. When you stop chasing praise and start trusting the process, you also free yourself from the opinions of others. You stop needing validation from outside sources because your confidence comes from knowing you're doing the work. This shift in mindset is powerful because it puts control back in your hands. You become less vulnerable to criticism and more focused on your own path. There's something deeply rewarding about being the person who quietly keeps showing up keeps working hard and keeps trusting that their efforts will pay off. That kind of person builds a legacy that lasts because they build it on a foundation of discipline, integrity, and patience, not on the applause of the crowd. In the end, praise is nice, but it's not necessary for success. What's necessary is trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your work, and trust in the process. When you have that trust, you can keep moving forward no matter what anyone says or does. You become unstoppable because your motivation comes from within, not from outside approval. So if you want to build yourself quietly and powerfully, stop chasing praise. Stop looking for quick validation. Instead, put your faith in the process. Work hard when no one's watching. Keep going when the road gets tough. Celebrate your quiet progress. And trust that one day your success will speak so loudly that it won't need any applause to be noticed. Remember, the greatest achievements are born from patience, persistence, and trust in the process, not from the noise of praise. Stay focused, stay humble, keep building quietly, because that's how you win in the long run.